Hello, everybody, and welcome back to QuestJunkiesUK for the first ever session of the Demethrin 5. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
We are very, very excited to be able to tell this brand new story with you, with this brand new cast of wonderful faces. And let's not beat around the bush. Let me get my really rubbish introductions out of the way in record time. First of all, let's see if the chat commands actually work this week, because it tends to be it changes its mind week after week if it's going to work.
I love that.
Yeah! They work this week. So, use that link in the chat right there to become a Super Siren subscriber like myself with Sirenscape. If you want to enhance your tabletop audio needs with over 1,000 different ambiances, music, sound effects, Wilhelm screams, trombones, particularly sad trombones, or you can even utilize your own samples, you're welcome to do so. On that note, we also use some independent music by some incredible independent musicians such as Travis Savoy, Michael Gelfie, Hunter Rogerson, Tabletop Audio, The Seventh Midnight, Mr. Scott Lee, Colin Vance, and I tend to throw in some video game music as well, mainly because it's awesome and also because copyright issues. You tend to not have copyright issues with video game music. So that's always fun, and a little tip for you there. We would also like to thank the wonderful guys over at D&D Beyond for helping us build our characters with their incredible interface, which is very useful, saves me a lot of time. You know, if you're a high-level wizard and you have to roll like 68,000 d6 fireball damage, you know, that's going to take a while with physical dice, as much as we all love using physical dice. So you can just press a button and do it for you, which is great. Your DM will thank you for that. Moving swiftly on from there, with these new wonderful players, we also have new characters, which means new character art by the ever wonderful, brilliant, fantastic, amazing Aviv Orr. Please go and give her some love with that link in the chat there. If you need some art commissioning, I could recommend no one better. Just look at this amazing art. Isn't it not incredible? I'm so hyped for it. And yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Continuing on from supporting creative individuals, in this mini campaign, much like the main campaign, should there be somewhat of a boss battle, an important encounter, so to speak, we will not be using virtual tabletops. No, we don't do that on this channel, because I don't like virtual tabletops as a DM. They annoy me. I just don't have the mental capacity to run them. But what I do instead is I will bring out a real battle map with real minis, which I paint on stream. So if the time comes during this mini campaign, which I'm sure it will at some point, where we break out the real battle map, you'll see minis and figures and such printed by the ever wonderful Super Denny Brothers over on Etsy. Go give them some love if you're local to the UK. These are like local for us, you know, they're good guys. Yeah, go give them some business, and I will continue to do so. And also keep an eye out on QuestJunkiesUK's Twitch channel, where at some point in the very near future, I will be streaming painting the player minis for this campaign, which is always fun. So if possible, tune in for that. It'll be great. You can see the players come into the chat and tell me I'm doing it wrong. It's going to be fun. Do they ship international? I believe they do. I'm not sure what the costs are for international shipping, but it's all there on the Etsy site. Do have a look, and yes, please give them their business if you can. We also have a community Discord where you can be the first to see the news and announcements that we have quite frequently on QuestJunkiesUK. If you want to give some prompts to Pat, one of the players from our main campaign, who is also an artist, he likes to draw scenes from our various sessions. If you want to submit one of those, go to the Pat Prompts channel in the community Discord and drop it in there, and he will oblige. We also have lots of other things. There's a lot of memes and stuff, so you know, it's a typical Discord server, really. We also have a merch store, which has a lot of brand new merch on it over the past couple of weeks. We might see some Demethrin merch show up at some point over the coming weeks, maybe. We do have some character art that would look great on t-shirts, just saying. It might happen. Watch this space. But we also have some incredible art from the main campaign, lots of different merch options. The Feronia Wild Brew merchandise. We have Protect Brim Small Boy at all costs. All the favourites, you know. Feel free to get on there and enjoy those. And last but never least, if you cannot stay today for the whole stream, never fear, we have a YouTube channel right there in the chat where you can watch all the VODs. I tend to put them up within 12 hours of the stream ending because I like to forfeit sleep for your entertainment. So don't worry about that. They will be up there very, very quickly. And you'll be able to catch up and watch all the goodness. Or if you want to catch up on the main campaign, if you've not watched it before and this is your first time with us, it's all there. You can enjoy it all, including our one-shots, our Lore Junkies episodes. We have the second campaign on there as well. Lots of things to enjoy. And as of recently, we are now available as a podcast. So if you look on all your favourite podcast platforms, you can now find the Redania Chronicles and soon the Demethrin 5. So lots of things to look for there. With that out of the way, let's go round the table and meet our players. So, first of all, please tell us who you are and where people can find you. And we won't meet your character just now. We'll meet your characters a little later on. So for now, just who you are and where people can find you and what you're looking forward to for this campaign. Starting off with Lexi.
Hey everybody, I'm Lexi. You can find me at Smallbird Lex or Smallbird Art. I do mainly this with friends. I draw sometimes. I do random cosplay things. I have ADHD, so I've got 7,000 hobbies. You'll find me. I'm sure something I do is your cup of tea.
I will always endorse a cup of tea. I'm a Yorkshireman, so amazing. Thank you. Moving on, Sam.
I'm Sam. You can usually find me on QuestJunkiesUK channel playing a rogue in the Out of Abyss campaign. This is my second campaign ever that I've ever played, so I'm really excited to play a warlock because I've never got to do fun things with magic. I've always been hiding, attacking. So this will be very fun.
Incredible. We are very happy to have you. Moving on, Aylin.
That's me. I'm Aylin, or Ace Rogue Sentinel on Twitter. I play a lot of D&D. I sometimes draw art. Yeah, that's about it.
You also play in a campaign with my good self, which is a good time.
Yes, Jacinta's Tyranny on Phoenix Iwaki's channel with John and Patch.
And speaking of Phoenix Iwaki, John.
Hello everybody, it's a pleasure to be back here on QuestJunkiesUK. Yes, I am John of Phoenix Iwaki, and I get to play with the majority of these fine folks on a regular basis, which is very, very nice. I am looking forward to playing with Lexi too. And you can find us at Phoenix Iwaki on here and on Instagram and on Twitter, and we have a Discord which you can jump into and also get news about things. We like to play lots of D&D, occasional other systems like our hilarious Honey Heist earlier today, and we're fortunate enough to have some lovely guests swinging by from time to time and do some charity streams and things, so do come and join us if you're ever able.
Incredible, and it's good to have you back at the table. It's been a while, but we finally got you back. I'm very happy. And last but never least, Mike.
Hi friends, I'm Mike. You know me as Grim in the chat for both QuestJunkiesUK and Phoenix Iwaki. You probably know who I am over there. You probably know who I am over here. I am looking forward to surviving through session 1.
How bold. Thank you very much. So, before we start the story, allow me to lay some groundwork here, some lore context, so to speak. So, today's adventure is the beginning of a mini-campaign set in the continent of Demethrin, which is the other continent in the world of Redania. Hey, thank you for the resubscription! Thank you! Right. So, the continents of Redania and Demethrin, for thousands and thousands of years, have essentially pretended that the other doesn't exist. It's gone on so long that people don't even remember why they don't like the other continent. But it's just learned. It's like a learned behavior. It's just so ingrained into both societies. It's like, no, we don't talk about that place. It doesn't exist. As far as they're concerned, the world stops at their borders. And Demethrin is a place that we've never touched upon in Quest Junkies. So this is brand new as we can get. And at this time, the events of this campaign take place alongside the main campaign. So specific events may cross over here and there within the world, depending on what occurs over the coming weeks and months. But I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. But over the last 10 years, since the world-changing events of the Great Reconvergence afflicted the main continent of Redania, unbeknownst to the rest of the world, there were effects to Demethrin as well. Maybe we'll find out about those as the adventure goes on. But for now, let's begin our tale. So, I'd like everyone to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Lovely.
If you'd be so kind. How'd we do?
1. 15. Oh, plus
Okay.
1, so 15. 14 on the die.
Okay.
21.
16 from me.
What was yours again, Sam? Sorry?
15 as well.
Okay.
Hey.
Good to know. So at some point over the last few nights, the 5 of you have experienced a shared dream. Despite the fact that you've never met, you've all had the same experience, which I will describe to you now. You come to your senses feeling like you're on the floor, prone. Everything is a blur around you. You feel like something has happened to you. You can't quite ascertain specifically what, but you're dazed. You're very confused. You're trying to get your surroundings. At the moment, everything is still a bit of a blur. But you reach your hand in front of you, and much like I can demonstrate now, everything has a bit of a motion blur to it. Your body feels heavy and sluggish. And as you start to take in your immediate surroundings, it's as if time has slowed down. It's not stopped. But while your brain feels fully active and respondent in real time, your body and everything around you seems to have slowed. And as you look in your immediate vicinity, you see almost silhouettes of colours. You see one that is quite light blue and almost very pale white. You see one that's dark and red with bits of green. You see one that's all different shades of auburn. You see one that's a luminescent green, and you see one that is a pale blue and silver. Silhouettes around you. You can't make out any specific details, but they too are on the floor, like yourself. And you shake your head, trying to regain your sense. You're not sure what's happening. Is there a battle? Is there a fight? Is there something? It's difficult to pick up. And as you start to slowly raise up, you feel the battering of the wind against your form, which, just as you're regaining your senses, makes you... You take a few moments to plant yourself and to adjust. And you start to reawaken the rest of your senses. There is a strong, heavy smell of sulfur all around you. And there's this very odd tingling sensation in the air, like static, but I'd say all five of you would recognize this is an arcane feeling. There is some sort of arcane power present here, wherever you are. As you start to find your way back up to your feet, you look again at the silhouettes, and while the rest of your surroundings are no longer as blurred, these silhouettes of colour remain so. They don't feel threatening, but they feel as present as you do. And as the wind changes direction, you follow it, and you see that you're in some sort of volcanic area. And as you follow the direction of the wind, you see steps leading up to an altar where you see a crimson light start to build, slowly get brighter and brighter. You take a step forward, your legs still feeling heavy, but you're fighting through it. And you notice that there is a silhouette of shadow in front of this altar, arms raised up in the air. You try and concentrate your hearing, and you do hear speech coming from this figure, but it's strange. It's like it's speaking in reverse. And you can't quite make out the language of this speech. And the closer you get, as you continue moving forward, your legs seem to get heavier and heavier. And then eventually the light fades from the altar, and this figure begins to turn around. And you see this robed figure with a wicked smile and a face that is mostly rotted away, with exposed bone and tissue present all around the face. A wicked smile curls up of the skin that remains on the face. As he lunges his hands forwards towards you all, nothing happens. And then your feet start to get heavier and heavier, and you look down and you can see dark purple tendrils lifting up from the stone that you're stood on, slowly wrapping around your ankles, up to your thighs, eventually reaching up to your whole body. And it begins pulling pulling you through the stone. The stone cracks and crumbles around you. You don't feel pain. You are numbed to whatever pain this would cause, being forcibly pulled through solid stone. And you can't help but watch as this figure laughs, as you are fully submerged through this stone and find yourself in a black void-like space where you are floating. You look around and you see nothing. You don't see these other figures anymore. You are alone. But in the distance, there is a light that just briefly fades in and out, accompanied by the sound of what is like a heartbeat, but with the presence and volume of thunder. If this is a heartbeat, this is the heartbeat of something substantial. And it begins to get louder, and the light gets brighter. And just before it gets too bright, you do, in the briefest of moments, see a gigantic silhouette of some sort of incredible beast. And as everything goes white, we begin our story. On board the deck of a small sailing boat. A few days later, it's nighttime. There is a distant storm ahead. And this small, almost like a fishing boat, is carrying two individuals upon it, in particular. Around the ship, you can see what can be best described as warships that are escorting it on either side. The captain appears tense. You see him just lean to the side to his first mate, saying, "I could get there quicker, but I'm not risking anything with the Royal Fleet at our side. Slow and steady wins the race." But our camera pans past the captain and his first mate to two figures sat down within the seating area of this small vessel. Let's meet our first two players. So, Aylin and Sam. If you'd like to tell us the name of your character and describe them for us, starting with Aylin.
So, Aegis is an albino drow, who is generally cloaked if it's daytime, and very, very, like, pale, kind of ethereal features. Given that he's mostly cloaked, perhaps you wouldn't notice initially that maybe his limbs are a bit too long and his features are very, very doll-like. Like, when he sits, he's just a little bit too still. And his features are just a little bit too perfect.
Okay. Sam?
So Astra is sitting next to Aegis, and I think they look like a very interesting pair sitting together. Astra has very long, luminescent, green turquoise hair that goes down to her waist that almost looks like it moves on its own. There's something very light about it, and she looks very mischievous. So she has like very cat-like eyes, and she's looking around the room, and there's something friendly but unsettling about her presence.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, The two of you sat together on this vessel. You've been on this vessel a couple of days. So you will have met when the ship embarked, and over time may have had a conversation or two, may have realized that you were there for the same purpose. The first two Redanians to cross the border to the continent of Demethrin. So you look towards the captain, who turns around and says, by my reckoning, about 10-15 minutes tops before we make port. Just be careful. They're watching, as he points towards the numerous galleons that are accompanying the vessel on either side.
Small question: Does it look like it's stormy currently?
So there is definitely a storm in the distance. It's not close by any means. It looks like it's heading in a different direction, like it might have already passed.
Okay.
So, the two of you sat there, enjoying the journey. Anything that you would like to talk about, or?
Astra is kind of smiling, looking into the distance, and I can't believe we're almost there.
You see this kind of like little sparks of golden light from Aegis. It's very exciting to be, I guess, the first people to be, well, making land in a Demethrin so long.
It is wonderful to be the first for something, you get to find out things.
I take it you're curious, as I am.
I can. I'm more than curious. I'm enthralled. I can't wait.
You see the first mate turns around and says, "Oh, it's great that you're curious and excited and all, but look, let me be honest with you. I don't know how aware you are of this, but Demethrins don't really like people from Rodania very much. So just be aware. Expect a bit of hostility from the public. I mean, there's all these guards here that they're going to escort you. Like, they'll protect you, yeah, but like, if you hear any insults or anything like that, just ignore it, okay? Like, I don't mind. I like everybody, but you know, it's just some people are less forgiving."
Well, if it's a good insult, I will write it down.
Not the response I expected, but fair enough.
I'm no stranger to being disliked. I'm more curious about why they dislike me, and they know that I don't.
That's also the response I didn't... You are fascinating individuals. Huh. Well, they might not say it, but it is a pleasure to have you on board this little vessel.
Thank you.
And he sort of turns around and stands back with the captain. So for the next 10-15 minutes or so, you sail on, you watch as the land gets closer and closer, and you see that there are more of these galleons docked in the port ahead. Darren Keep, the main shipping lane for Demethrin. And as the ship finally makes dock, you can see that a massive crowd has gathered to witness this. The first two outsiders to set foot on Demethrin land for thousands upon thousands of years. You can see that there's some that have signs up in protest. You can see some that appear to be excited, but there is a general vibe of caution in the air. And as you sort of stand at the top of the gangplank leading off onto the port itself, you can see that while there is a lot of people, there is also as many guards stood, all staring unblinking directly at the two of you. And the captain sort of walks over to stand in front of you. Says, right, yes, so, I don't think I introduced myself before, I'm sorry. I'm Captain Tygrove. I am to escort you into the keep, where you will meet, the other lucky people to be requested by the king. And that's where my part in this ends. So, please follow quickly and quietly, and hopefully the people will be equally gracious. You see like a bead of sweat drips down his temple. So, if you'd like to follow me. And he starts walking down the gangplank. Do you follow?
He just gestures for Astra to go first and then follows.
Okay.
Alice, next photo.
So you start walking down the gangplank and then through the streets, and people go silent as Absy Doodles awards player inspiration for Gikato. Please make a note of that. Thank you very much, Absy. Good to see you. The crowds around you go silent as they just stare. You can hear the odd comment. Phrases like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought they'd be a bit more intimidating than that. Or you hear like a little girl saying, oh my god, she's got really cool green hair. It's glowing. That's so cool. Mummy, can you see it? There's various comments like that as you walk through. Most of them quite amusing and perplexing. Thankfully, not much in regards of hostility. You do hear the occasional, away! Get away! You bring ruin to us, outsiders! And they're quickly, escorted away by guards. After 5 minutes or so walk, you're escorted into Darren Keep's quarters itself, where the captain thanks you for accommodating and takes his leave, and the guards escort you into a small room with a little round table where 3 other figures are currently sat. So, John, if you'd like to introduce us to your character and describe what Aegis and Astra see as they walk in the room.
Gato is a lizard, black-scaled with a red underbelly, a feathered green cap on their head, and a magical cloak clasped with the emblem of their god Rhea, the 4 arrows in the circle of ivy in the shape of a compass. They are otherwise unclothed on their torso, but they have like a kilt on their lower half, with their belts with the various weapons hanging off, a bow across their back, a couple of braces on their scaly forearms, and they are talking to the other 2, but when they hear the door open, they turn to meet the new arrivals. and there is a sudden clatter as he springs to his feet, his chair hurled backwards. You. I would like Astra to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, Brandon. That is a 25.
Wow.
He slams a scaly hand to the markings on his belt. There are two twin fasteners on the belt, each with a rune carved in them, giant runes. He slams his palm to one and it glows, but nothing happens. He's like, very well, the old-fashioned way. And he springs across the table and attacks.
Okay. So,
If you or any other chicken-legged whore are going to get you out of this one.
so before we sort that out, Lexi, please introduce us to your character and describe what they see amidst this chaos.
Ginkgo is an autumnal eladrin. Lots of autumn colors in her big curly hair. No bias or anything. Many different yellows, oranges, dark reds. And her clothes, interesting leathers. Not one that any would see. You understand them to be leathers, but they look off for some reason. The colors look dyed and just different. It's an interesting pattern work of like leaves and green trim. She's quite tall for an eladrin, just like 5'8"ish. No 6-footer out here, but she's just looking around, a little not fidgety, but just unaware and a bit confused. Just she's never been in a tavern before. Very clear that this is new territory. She's just almost like a lizard. But you can tell clearly next to a lizard, it's not the same.
Okay,
And she sees him jump up and is confused.
Okay.
Just
And Mike?
So, what's interesting about the half-orc you see cross-armed watching this whole thing with a sort of tempered scowl, as what you see is to be someone sitting down, almost looks like a guard standing up. She is well taller than most folks, and seeing her hair sort of parted over her right eye, her glance of yellow, intense pupils just kind of stares down Gikato, looking at Ginkgo for just a brief moment, and you can see donned in this very patchwork but very ornate armor, this what looks to be the size of a fox hide is on her shoulder, and her pauldron almost too big. The armor itself actually looks thicker than she is, and she kind of looks over and just kind of grunts. That's no way to treat our guests, Gikato.
Okay. So, Gikato, you were making an attack roll?
2 seconds. So I think.
Ginkgo's just gonna write down, polite to guests.
Oh yes, Astra is also a half-wood elf warlock, if I mentioned already.
Good to know. So while oh, go ahead.
Right. Gikato is going to try and grapple Astra.
Okay. So I'd like you both to make a contested strength check, please.
And you just assist?
If you'd like to.
Because I think his first impulse would be to summon his Echo Knight to defend Astra.
Okay.
Which...
I got a 2 on my strength.
Oh no.
So
Oh, wait, but if you
with
Probably
with
not to
advantage.
cut down.
if you're being assisted, then you do have advantage on the roll.
yeah, I rolled twice. The other one was a 1. So
Oh,
Bad dice
Wow.
dice jail right now.
I think the Echo Knight is not able to help as Aegis intended because
Yeah.
as Kakato leaps across the table, a small kind of bluish white crystal appears from the ethereal plane into the material and intercepts the Echo Knight and blocks them, like buzzing around them, it's just flying around them, and blocks the way so that Kakato has an unimpeded jump across. And strength, you said?
yes.
Is it strength or athletics?
Strength for this for now.
Also a 2.
Oh, interesting.
The dice
Can I
are
use my inspiration from Babsy?
You certainly can.
19.
Okay, that definitely beats a 2. All right, so you managed to grapple.
So yeah, he leaps across the table and he's like, "You thought you could hide and slip away? No. In Rhea's name, you shall not escape again."
So immediately upon being touched, Astra's face goes from a smile to a scowl. And she's like, "Don't let me go right now. You will regret this."
The only thing I regret is letting you slip through my grasp those years ago.
How's the rest of the table reacting?
Ginkgo's just looking to Kimura. Is this a normal greeting for them? Do we stop this? Do we intervene?
Part of me wants this to play out. It looks like Akato's already asserting his dominance, but I guess we'll see. If it gets any further, I don't want to spill blood all over King Midas's tables.
Pull him outside if you like.
I think let's play out for another minute or so. See how it goes.
Okay.
Aegis is gonna attempt to help free Astra in some form.
All right.
Just politely watching.
So, I don't know if we're really initiative or whatever, but I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the verge at this point. So
I will use Misty Step to teleport to the other side of the room.
okay. You appear at the other side of the room.
You stay over there. We are here for a purpose. I have a vague memory of why you may or may dislike me, but let's just play nice, okay? I don't want this to get ugly.
Yeah, Aegis is going to just put himself in between Astra and Kakato at this point. And shield comes out, and you see, like, one large eye surrounded by 7 other eyes. In a kind of... there's an innate pattern of, like, an hourglass on there as well.
Curious.
I recognize the markings.
Make a religion check.
Religion. Is it about Fey Fiends or the Undead?
No.
Okay. 16.
16. So, Gikato, while you are not native to this world, specifically, you have observed much of this world's customs, its culture. You can't place the specific origins of what you see, but it is something you've seen before. There is definitely a recognition.
Okay. Out of the way, Elf. This is no quarrel of yours. You cannot understand the damage that one wrought in the Shadow Realm.
You know her.
Unfortunately, yes.
I suppose your king will decide whether or not your quarrels are relevant.
My king?
Whoever commands your people to do
You see, Gikato kind of catches himself. He's like, yes, my king, King Zereo will, no doubt, trust my judgment on this. As it is I he has sent to gather those travelers who are to help him. Although it seems his choices might have been misguided.
From the open doorway in the corridor outside the room, you start to hear and a figure walks in, quite regally dressed, long silver hair, a very smarmy disposition. It's walking in like, how utterly delightful. Yes, quite a performance. If you'd be so kind, please stop it now. Be a good boy, Gikato. You wouldn't want our Lord King displeased that you have welcomed our new guests in such a manner that would be unbefitting someone of your status, now would you? You recognize this figure, Gikato, to be Lothan, who is one of the staff of the upper echelons of the king's court here in Demethrin. Someone who's pretty much disliked by everybody, but is an essential part of the government cog, in a sense.
Gikato will just kind of snarl at him. I wouldn't want you, Lothan, to act in a way befitting your lack of knowledge of the situation. If you're done playing host to us, let us take this to the king and deal with it properly.
What a fantastic idea. Perhaps your insight is slightly higher than I had originally assumed. Well, I suppose we shall see. Yes, indeed, I am Lothan, and you are due for a meeting with our king. Now, he has requested immediately, and he is located at the other side of the continent. So, on this rare occasion, and you can see that he's like, he looks as if he doesn't want to admit this. He's like, you have been authorized for a single use of our branch of Palor network. So if you'd like to follow me, let's not waste any more time over little squabbles and mishaps. And he starts to leave the room. Are you coming, Gagato?
Come on, everyone. Unfortunately, there is only one door that we can use, and it only has one doorkeeper.
I heard that, and I'm glad that you are aware of the hierarchy here. Yes. So he proceeds to lead you through some winding corridors and then down a lot of steps that seem to go on for quite some time, essentially taking you into the bowels of the basement levels of Daring Keep. And you enter into quite a large room with nothing in it other than some sort of circular structure with some steps leading up to it with an empty hole in it. For the player's reference, much like a Stargate from Stargate SG-1, essentially, is how I always envisioned it. And you see that Lotham walks over there and clicks his fingers, and a portal emerges in the space in this circular stone structure. Now, do dash along. You have an important meeting ahead of you, and the sooner you are done with using my branch of Palor, the better. Now, chop chop.
Yakato smiles to himself at that ill-advised use of my branch of Pelor and says,
You are lucky that the land is in such need.
Yes, it does look like we have more important concerns.
Don't think I've forgotten about you.
He will just lean over to Astra and say, he does get cranky sometimes. I'm afraid it's something you might have to get used to, but I'm sure you'll do fine.
the small blue-white crystal buzzing around him starts to glow kind of more reddish-orange, and Gekata's like, Zook, no. As it starts to charge up its sacred flame.
You just hear it in your voice. He best watch his tongue a bit more. Arr.
Now, go on. Don't tell me you never served under a shitty captain like that.
You just hear a laughter in response. So, the portal stands in front of you all.
Or, Ginkgo,
Please.
Upon the mention, Kimura goes directly in the path of Lathan and bumps him as hard as she can, but very subtle on her end, and kind of just shakes her head and goes through the portal.
Okay.
Bumps Lathan. Yeah.
Ginkgo writes something down in her notebook and follows suit to Kimura.
Kimura, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh,
Dex saving throw.
a dex saving throw?
15.
15, okay. As you go for the shrug, you see he quickly reacts, and literally just from out of his sleeve, a long cane appears as he goes to trip you with it, but you see it just in time to just step out of the way. And he just sort of looks at you like, curious. Your reputation precedes you.
Next time rats will speak when spoken to. And goes through the portal.
My. Feisty.
Ginkgo writes something down in the notebook after watching Kimura and just walks up to the new friend and just stiff arms his shoulder. Just like, curious. and then goes through the portal. Like, not sure of, like, this is what we're supposed to do, apparently. Just...
Sometimes I don't think they pay me enough. So, one by one, you all enter through the portal. And it's a strange sensation going through. Gakato has used this once before, so Gakato is aware of it. But it's like, for a briefest of seconds, stepping into like a really cold pool of water. But it doesn't leave you damp. It's just that cold sensation, just for a split second, and as you come through it, immediately vanishes. As you look around and take in your surroundings, as you are inside a very grand, almost ballroom-like area. Everything around you.
Komora? Sorry.
Hmm?
Is this just Ginkgo and Komora as
This
they
is
go
it.
through first?
Well, no, this is after everyone's gone through.
Okay, so I want to do one thing as I went through.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Can Lothan make a strength saving throw, please?
Certainly. Oh, natural 20.
Oh,
That's how I want my first roll to go. Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. Good shout, though. So, as you have stepped through the portal and you take in your surroundings, literally everything around you is made of marble. It is grander than grand, and you can see a line of guards either side of the other end of this portal. And one captain steps forward. Welcome to Cathramand. The king is expecting you. Please accompany me. And sort of, just before he turns, it just gives you all like an intense stare, like you look and you can see that he's not just looking at you, but he's attempting to figure you all out. You can see like a quick glance about you, like what weapons have they got? How much of a threat are they right now? It's a very interesting stare that you get. And then he turns around and leads you down this corridor. So, you journey through this palace interior, and it is quite possibly one of the grandest places most of you, if not all of you, have ever encountered before. The sheer wealth of everything around you is quite almost intoxicating. For some of you, maybe more than others. And eventually, you arrive in the throne room. And you see this grand throne made of gold and platinum. With, at the head of it, you can see a crescent moon with some sort of cat-like figure sat within the crescent moon. Much like the logo for the Demethrin 5. Which you can see. Which you can get on our merch store. Let me put a merch store link in the chat. Shameless plug. And standing in front of the throne, you see a very, very regal figure. Even more so than Lothan. King Midas Jireo. Dark skin, braided beard with dark black and white hair all intertwined within the braids. Long dreadlocks with various different colours intertwined in them. Jewels adorned here, there and everywhere on the clothes, in the hair, in the facial hair. Rings, necklaces, just the dictionary definition of wealth. Stands there with a cane in his hand. Well, more like a scepter, really. And wearing a very extravagant crown. Ah, you have arrived. This is good. Thank you for coming. He starts to step down the steps to meet your level, and one by one stands before each of you, looks you up and down. Yes, I think he'll do just nicely. I am King Midas Jureo, ruler of the continent of Demethrin. I thank you for answering my summons, and looks directly at Astra and Aegis. And I thank you for taking the chance and the definite risk of traveling as far as you have. As he walks up to both of you and in turn shakes your hands. Our continents have been separated for thousands of years. No one can remember why. I am too old and too wise to care. I only want to unite people. So allow me to extend this hand of friendship and diplomacy in what I hope is the beginning of a new era for this world.
When he gets to Aegis, Aegis gives a full formal bow.
Thank you. Those customs are not required here, but it is appreciated nonetheless.
First impression is a lasting one.
A very wise comment. I shall remember this. It's nice to know that the sister continent has wisdom. So, you will be wondering, no doubt, why I have gathered you here. Why I have brought outsiders to these lands. And as he's talking, he looks at Kimura and does a bit of a double take. You. How long have you possessed that weapon?
For as long as the Witch Knight has held it.
What connection to the Witch Knight do you have?
I am his successor.
Wait. You can see that there's like complex emotions on his face currently. Like for a split second you see surprise, quickly followed by sorrow, quickly followed by hints of anger. As he looks back at you and says, Kimura, that is your name, correct?
Charmed, my king.
I have heard of your exploits, and while you are indeed successful in your endeavors, your methods are a note of concern.
They were not my father's, but I am not only his legacy.
And yet you carry his blade.
It's an heirloom, my king.
And I suspect, due to your overzealous nature, an heirloom which you have not yet fully mastered.
How could you possibly know what Oathkeeper says to me? How she wields in my hands?
Your father was a very trusted friend of mine. I know more than you realize, and I don't think he would approve of your methods. So I hope this is an opportunity for you to do right by him and honor his memory, rather than using the barbaric ways which I have heard you use.
She kind of bows her head for a moment. Then I will do right by him.
Good. I wish to see his memory honored as much as you, believe me. I do hope your dear mother is well.
She kind of scoffs at that, looks away, and then looks back silently.
Well, allow me to apply some context to why you're here. Gakato is aware of a lot of what has been happening here. He is one of our scouts, and while he has not been with us for too long, he has proven himself capable in a surprising amount of different areas. I will try and explain this thoroughly because some of you are new to the continent. We are currently in the city of Cathramand, which is in the far east of the continent, the other side of the continent from where you just were. To the north of here is the Holdren Pass, where beyond lies Zillaran, a volcanic, ash-ridden wasteland that, to our best knowledge, has always been somewhat inhabitable. We do send scouts here and there because there have been reports of unsightly beasts attempting to cross the pass into the mainland. Gakato has witnessed some of these beasts in the past and has made great efforts to protect these lands from the dangers of the north. However, on his last scouting mission, himself and his companions witnessed something strange. A strange development indeed. It appears that there's some sort of rot taking hold in the lands to the north. Something that consumes anything it touches, whether it be flesh, steel, stone. It seems to consume all. But the worst aspect of it is what it does to beasts. As before it consumes them entirely, it appears to have some sort of reanimation effect, bolstering them with great power and resolve beyond any natural means. We have been successful in counteracting this with fire, notably divine fire. But in recent times, this rot and the creatures it inhabits has appeared to be getting stronger and more resilient to our methods. My task for you all is to venture beyond the Holdren Pass into Zillaran, find the source of this rot, and cut it off. We need to end this threat before it gets worse. Some people are skeptical of this, but I have had dreams as of late. Dreams that suggest dark times ahead. And they point directly at this problem. If you succeed, the Kingdom of Demethrin would owe you its future and its life, so you would be thoroughly compensated. So, any questions? Very good. You are all avid listeners. I hope you are as good at problem solving as this. Gekato, yes.
Not so much a question as a warning. I cannot... Trust me, this is not speaking from a place of prejudice. I too am for opening the borders to those from Rodania. But the connections... This one...
And points at Astra.
has held in the past lead me to be suspicious of their motives here.
He steps forward towards you, and you see his expression has changed, but not in the way you had originally anticipated. As he looks down at you, if you would be so kind, Gekato, explain to me how you would know somebody from the outside lands.
It was neither here in Demethrin or there in Rodania that our paths have crossed before. But beyond the veil in the shadows, you are aware of my connections beyond the material plane.
While I don't fully understand them, I am aware, yes.
Think of it as similar to the place between when traveling via the branch of Pelor. On that note, you should know that leader Lothan refers to their end of things as his own branch of Pelor.
Does he now?
If you are seeking to open up relations between here and Rodania, I would not have him as the first face people see as they arrive here.
Between you and me, I would not have him be the first face seen by anyone anywhere. Unfortunately, he is very good at what he does, and he is essential. But this information is useful, and I will speak to him about this. Remind him of the true hierarchy in these lands, shall we say.
Malish. But to my original concerns.
Yes. Turns towards Astra. What do you say of this? These are grand accusations.
Well, I say we leave the past in the past. And I come here with no ill will. I only want to explore this new land and build new connections. And I don't see any reason why we can't work together.
My liege, may I?
By all means.
Are you here, Astra? On your own volition? Or on some deed of hers?
That is a very strange question to ask me because those two are always one of the same.
It was her meddling that set an entire community adrift. Lost to the ebb and tides. Merely to extricate your journey.
Well, allow me to present a solution. And the king walks right up to Astra and places a hand on her shoulder. I will take your words that you can work peacefully alongside Kakato. But do know, should there be any ill consequences because of your actions here, if Kakato doesn't kill you first, and he grips his hand higher on your shoulder, you'll find this hand around your neck, and my face will be the last you see. Do we have an accord?
As I said before, I have no intention to harm anyone.
He immediately lets go. Very good. We have an agreement. Kakato? I trust you will not disagree with the word of your king.
Of course.
Very good. Now, if you will excuse me, I have other matters to attend to. Kakato will lead you through the Holdren Pass into the Northern Wastelands, and from there, do what you have to do. This continent, possibly this world, depends on it. He bows his head and turns to walk away.
Stability is quite normal here, it seems.
That's a subtle way to put it.
Strange.
Well, Gikato, and to everyone, we may want to prepare one last time before we take this journey. Are we in agreement?
Will be quite a difficult journey. And the wastelands to the north are unforgiving. If there is anything you need to secure before we leave, you must do it here within Kathramand.
As you mentioned, a difficult journey. Could I get everyone's preferred funerary rites?
You speak a little prematurely.
Well, everyone will die someday.
Will you be there when we do?
It's possible. I will try to prevent it, though.
I will be
You're a
planted by
funny
my
one,
mother.
Outlander.
Sorry, y'all both spoke at the same time. I missed it.
More first.
Oh. You're a funny one, Outlander. And turns to Ginkgo.
I will be planted by my mother, back where the mountains and the trees meet.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to share their funeral arrangements?
All being well, there are those who should come for me. But thank you.
I believe the same will be true of me when my light stops shining.
We can find out any day.
Maybe we will.
Okay,
It's kind of
so
intuitive to hurt each other before the mission. Maybe you should hold off until after.
This is me holding off.
So we have been given a Grant Player Inspiration Redeem specifically for the squishiest member of the group.
Uh-oh.
So, Ginkgo,
Guesses, anyone?
you have a round of inspiration thanks to Mai from our main campaign, playing the ever chaotic Feronia.
Thanks,
Tiny
Feronia.
hell thanks you.
Hey,
It's good to have you, Mai. Okay, so the city of Cathramand is yours should you need to prepare anything else, or you can set forth on your adventure immediately. The choice is yours, as the quest has been set out. The road lies ahead. Which way do you want to go?
I think before we go anywhere, I will probably hang back with Ginkgo just a little bit and just wait for the Outlanders to keep going. Just give them an extra bit of pace, given the space between, and just kind of whisper down in her ear. What do you think of the Outlanders?
I have no real opinion. Not yet. They haven't done anything to harm me or you. So, I have no hostility towards them.
They have hostility with each other. We may not even get to the gates without carrying their corpses.
Is it customary to cook them?
What would they taste like? Sounds gamey.
Quite curious, actually.
I think some of Gekato's relatives were eaten in Sento Chihiro. You have to ask how they tasted in that. Gekato saw that, and he's like on the stick there, he's like, oh, cousin.
I will say that at this time, Gekato specifically, as you are the guide, since it is quite late at night at this point, probably not best to set off immediately.
Yeah, and if Patch could fill in John's lack of knowledge of the northern areas there, he would recommend to the others any equipment and things that they would need.
Yes.
Are we able to acquisition anything in the name of the king? Do we have any coffers to draw from?
Make a persuasion check
Come on, Gekato.
with a high DC.
Come on, Gekato.
5.
It's a good job the king's already left the room, because could have taken one of your hands for that comment. So No, is the answer.
Fair enough. Get the job done, but don't expect any help. Noted.
So, for the specific journey, you would be aware that a lot of the terrain is quite, with it being like a volcanic area, it's not mechanically difficult terrain, but there's a lot of climbing. There's a lot of like caverns and crevices and things to navigate. It's not like, grasslands or happy fun times or anything like that. So climbing gear would be good.
Happy fun times, he says.
Okay. I'd recommend that to others.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be that steep of a climb? We can't just free climb it ourselves, Kikato?
Well, I can. And just runs up the wall.
Show off.
Fascinating.
You asked.
Can I use strength to climb the wall?
Can certainly try.
Oh, 8, nice. 22?
22. Equally.
You notice now that she has a bit of clawed hands, very similar to the ones that I have. And she just claws into them on the side of the mountain.
You just hear a voice from behind you like, "Oi! What are you doing up on the king's royal walls?" You see two
Ready for
guards
the king's business.
with spears up. "I don't think the king wanted you to climb his walls and leave your handprints."
I can actually fix that.
Right. And the other one just leans.
Backflip off the wall onto the.
The other one just leans over. Is like, "Terry, I think these are the outsiders. Let's be careful, eh?" And you see his expression changes. Like, as you were. And they quickly walk off.
Should I fix that or?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So neither of the outsiders are actually climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
We look like the most outsidery. Climbing the walls.
Once Ginkgo climbs down, Aegis will summon these ethereal, like, kind of golden wings, and kind of fly up and just mending on the wall.
Okay.
And
Brings it.
as he casts mending, these like pale, like silvery pink eyes open on the wings.
Ooh.
Are you close enough to Ginkgo within reach now?
Well, once he's done fixing the wall, yeah.
She goes
The
to like
wings go
reach
away.
at the wings.
The eyes turn to face her.
She just like moves around, completely fascinated by the just like, what is this?
And then after a minute, they go away.
Yakato will nod up. He's like, "Suk, give a hand." And the crystal will go up and use prestidigitation as well.
Yeah, you just hear this faint "R" as the prestidigitation takes effect. If you know, you know.
Arr.
Okay.
Question for Pat: are Io and the others here on Demethrin, or are they on Rodania?
You don't know.
Really?
Mm.
Okay. They didn't. Well, at first were they? Did they arrive here when Gokatsu did, or did they go elsewhere?
I think when you landed, You would have landed in the outskirts of Redania. And then eventually you made your way to Demethrin by means unknown to most except for you, which I will not state publicly. You would assume that they would have remained in Redania, though you can't say for sure.
Okay.
So,
are we to be put up in the palace, or?
You can ask.
Okay. So yeah, I'll look for the, like a chamberlain or someone in the know.
Mm-hmm. So you find one of the sort of royal attendants. So quite an old man with like thin oval glasses and receding hairline, thick white hair, very smartly dressed with like a ruffled collar on the jacket. Yes, Nikato, yes, can I be of assistance?
Yes, these are the others about the king's business, but the hour is late, and it would not be wise to travel. Where are we to be put up for the night?
Did we? I don't think we made arrangements for that. The king has already acquired to his quarters. Unfortunately, the royal palace cannot accommodate you at such time. But might I recommend one of the local taverns?
You don't need to convince me twice.
Very good.
Hungry.
As we are about the king's business, are we not to be compensated for our accommodations?
I mean, you're welcome to go and ask him, but he has retired to his chambers, and if he is asleep and awoken, I'm very sure something bad would happen. You have a strange glow about you, as we have had a WoW Magic Surge redeem in the chat from Pat Toons, another one of our players from the main campaign. So, first question, John. Which of your 5 classes would you like to roll on for your WoW Magic Surge?
Let's roll that. This is the first starters.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for those of you unaware, John, Gakato is 5 different classes at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I am a ranger, blood hunter, druid, sorcerer, fighter.
Yes.
And I rolled a 2, and the second in the list is blood hunter.
All right. Give me a D100, pretty please.
Will do. I didn't even drink anything Feronia made. How rude. That would be 80.
80. 80. Oh, interesting. So nothing happens. You just glow a little bit, and then it just vanishes. Mechanically speaking, for the next hour, creatures that die within 100 feet of you leave behind dry, exsanguinated husks.
Wasn't me, I didn't do it.
I love jerky.
Okay, so says there is a tavern nearby. It's called Holdix Rest. I've heard it's the less aggressive of the taverns. Might be a wise choice. I'm not sure.
Well, if you are to have people about the king's business in the palace this late in the day, perhaps you might prepare something? Or do you need the king to tell you to do everything? You wouldn't last 2 days in the mountains.
And that is why I am in the palace.
Yes, to each their own.
Oh, so you are weak.
Oh, assuredly so, yes.
That explains it.
Says the self-confessed squishy. Goodbye with them.
Okay.
Yakato will look at Kimura and say,
We got two climbers and someone with wings.
Just smiles at Aegis. Just... Aegis or Aegis?
Aegis.
Aegis. Just make sure I pronounce it right.
Mora, are you set for any precipitous routes we might have to take?
I think I've got enough. I am quite low on ale, though, and I do need to remedy that soon.
What's ale?
Like
Fantastic.
Grog. Have you ever heard of grog before? Maybe a beer? Oh, my dear Ginkgo, tonight you are going to get an education unlike anything you've ever had in your life.
Hold out her notebook.
Let's be functional tomorrow, please.
Just FYI, rule that has already been made canon in Redania. Lesser restoration does indeed cure drunkenness or a hangover. Just FYI.
Aegis.
You think I will use that spell slot on that?
Not wasting a spell slot on you.
Not on drunkenness, no.
Okay. So.
Aegis is not the mom character of this campaign.
No.
Good.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
I suppose. After you, my new friend. All three of you.
Well, thank you. He walks in front of you.
Drew, I don't know you enough. I don't think I would be your friend yet. She just thinks she's not included in the
Kamar will just pat Gikato on the back. Sure. And just walk off to her with the rest of them.
He just gives a stiff little bow, like, okay. And it just goes.
Kikato will say to Ginkgo and Kimura's like,
So, are you familiar with Cathermand?
Yes, actually. I grew up west of here. My father would always take me into town. And this is the best time for it. The taverns are alight. The bar crawl is so young. Oh, you're talking about supplies. I'm sorry. In the morning,
No.
the vendors will be here.
With the town in general. I mean, just nearby, west of here. I mean, everything is.
To you, yes. No, farther west, towards the shoreline. Right outside the city limits. But enough. If you need a good supplier, I think I have one of my father's connections still around. If that's what you're looking for. Unfortunately, the King's Court did not recommend the best tavern. But for you Outlanders, it may be a good respite.
I'm just looking forward to getting out to the clean air and the open skies. Not all of these smelly alleys and dusty brick buildings.
Not used to that sort of thing? The history and all the musk that comes with it?
Oh, I've been in many storied places, my friend, but, no, it's just, yeah, I have preferences.
Do you prefer the outside?
Absolutely.
The trees and the breeze and the sun?
Every time. And we'll get plenty of that. I suppose one night won't matter. But, and anyone feeling a bit flush? I'm flat broke.
Gingo's been jingling every time she steps with her 500 gold coins.
Oh, and you intend to treat us too, Ginkgo? Oh.
Then she just holds her bag, just... What does this mean?
Well, consider it compensation for your little lesson tonight, as the other Outlanders will learn soon as well.
Compensation for lessons in ale. She gives everybody gold coins. 2 gold coins each.
Much obliged.
Oh, my friend. And Kimura will just wrap her arm around Ginkgo's shoulder and just lead her off to the tavern.
All right. So one by one, you eventually make your way to the tavern, which is bustling, full of people. Thankfully drunk enough to not notice specifically that there are outsiders present. But the night is young and merry, the ale is flowing, and if I can find the right music, I cannot.
Small little note. At being handed the 2 coins, Aegis blushes, because another little... Another design aspect is that he has these 2 silver coins hanging from his ears.
Interesting.
Also, it turns out I only bought 1 magic item, so I actually have 1,000 gold coins.
Oof.
So...
Keep that to yourself.
Swimming in it.
I just didn't spend the money.
So as you enter the tavern, there is... there's seemingly some sort of celebration going on. The crowds are lively and merry. There's musicians playing in the corner, and while the hour is late, the night does still feel young. And while it is full, it's not full enough that you can't secure a table. And you see at the bar there is quite a large, portly man, a human. Sort of serving drinks, wiping glasses, very, very sort of chatty and energetic at the bar. So what's it to be?
Beeline. Straight for the bar.
Straight for the bar? Okay. So you head
to the music.
You head straight up to the bar, and after serving a couple of people ahead of you, it's like, all right, welcome. Oh, can I get you anything special for you? We got lots on store tonight.
My dear, would you do me the pleasure of pouring 10 ales from my table?
10 ales?
Start off.
Oh, I like you. Oh, yes. You're very welcome here. I'd be right over with them. And you see he starts collecting glasses to start pouring. Now, do you want the good stuff or the good stuff?
Give me something to knock me out tonight. I trust you.
I mean, if you play your cards right, love, I can do that for you.
Another time, perhaps. Maybe when I'm inebriated enough to actually think of you that way.
Ooh.
Roll for burn damage.
Your DM will
The good
remember
stuff.
this.
The good stuff for my friends and the best stuff for me.
Right you are. Be right over. And eventually, the drinks are brought over, and you're all sat. You have 2 drinks each. You can see that a table across from you sort of are eyeing you up a little bit. Just observing.
I
Slam
can't
the first one.
remember the last time I sat in a group of people and ate food together.
Just out of curiosity, Sam, are you sitting next to Gikato? Are Astra and Gikato sitting next to each other, or are they kind of just opposite sides of the table?
I think Astra actually definitely sat next to you, Kimura, and maybe diagonally across from Yakato.
And how about you, Gikato? Where are you sitting?
He'd wait until everyone else was sat and then take wherever was left. But somewhere where Astra's in plain view, probably.
We'll just shove 2 ales to the both of you. And wait.
You do that, and Gekato's tongue comes out and grabs it and pulls it over. Which was what I was trying to do with Lothan's rod, but his strength save was too strong.
Next time.
Yeah. That's why as we went through the portal, it's like, I'm keeping this. Went through the portal.
So, at some point through the evening, this table across from you, the people that are curiously watching, they seem to be taking note of how you handle your drink. And eventually, one of them stands up and approaches. Hi there. Begging your apologies. My friends and I just saw you, obviously newcomers to town. Welcome. It's nice to have you. You seem to be doing surprisingly well with that rather strong ale there. Friends and I just wondered if you might be up for a little wager.
A coy smile. Go on.
Well, what we're sort of famous for in these parts is how we handle our drink. There's nobody can outdrink us, so I just wondered if you fancied a bit of a wager, see if you can outdo us with your newcomer skills, maybe?
Well, looks to the rest of the table.
Bottoms up.
All right.
Ginkgo, Aegis?
Ginkgo, after only having 1 ale, is quite drunk with her -3 tolerance and is actually playing her pan flute with the band. Would you like me to roll a performance check?
Give me a performance check for that. Definitely.
She's plus. Let's see. 25.
25!
17 on the die plus 8.
I mean,
Nice.
you're normally pretty good with the pan flutes, but whatever this drink is, it's enhancing your musical ability. And the other musicians are taking note, and they're like, "Oh, she's pretty good. Oh, she's good. Oh yeah, we can jam this. We can totally."
She's having a grand old time and probably should not be involved in a drinking contest.
So the challenge has been made. Who is stepping forward?
What was he just doing?
Taking stage sips, like not actually drinking the alcohol.
Okay. So, how many of us? Is it 3, 4? 4. Okay. So, I haven't done this for a while, but quite happy to do it now. Rodanian drinking challenge. So it's going to be 4v4. You individually take rounds, one-on-one, with the winning team being decided by the amount of still conscious people by the end of it. The way to win is the first to get 3 successive Constitution saving throws. And I narrate what happens. So, who steps forward first?
Just confirming, it's a saving throw, not an ability check.
It is a saving throw.
Well, Kimura kick things off, so.
I was just gonna get her other ale, her second one, and just chug the whole thing.
I think to assert dominance, Kimura's going to take the 2 empty mugs that she has and puts it right to her side and drags the one there and just stares intently.
Okay. Let's change the music up. So, round 1, Kimura versus first patron, who I can't be bothered naming. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw as you both start chugging this first drink.
It's Mayrin.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's 21.
Okay, they got a 19. So you both managed to chug the drinks pretty quickly, but he just sort of like inhales some a little bit ever so quickly and just recovers. But by the time he empties his glass, you're already sat there, licking your lips. So that's 1 succession for you.
Yay,
He's like,
did we win?
all right. Off to a good start. I'm ready, though. You ain't seen nothing yet. Drink. Second pint.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. So with that, it's like, it doesn't even touch the sides. You literally just, and it's gone. Whereas with the 12, they get halfway and you start to feel it bubbling in the stomach. They do manage to finish, but only just. And you can see, I can do this. I can do this. I've prepared for this moment my entire life. This is my hero's story. I'm going to win this. This is my one time I'm going to be victorious. Are you bloody ready? Because I am.
Wow, this is your hero story? I wasn't aware that short stories were told in taverns.
Oh,
I love a short story.
you're going to regret that, mate. You're going to regret that. Right, drink.
Oh, that's ew. Ugh. That does 10.
A 10. Okay. So you get like halfway down your drink, and suddenly the strength of, you asked for the extra strong, and the strength finally just hits you in this moment. And it takes you a minute. You do manage to get to the bottom of the glass, but it's very uncomfortable, and you look and you can see that with a natural 6, he's not even a quarter of the way through, and he's like, I'll tell you another thing. And he just passes out in front of you.
All 5 mugs there, takes a bow, off to the next.
Okay.
Did we win?
That's the first round. Who's next to stand up? Any volunteers?
Kato looks at Astra.
I'm sure your patrons had you drink some brews.
I'd love to go next, if that's okay with you.
All right. So, Astra, you sit down in the spot, and they bring over like a female, looks like a half elf, with blonde hair, and it's like, oh, I'm just really happy to be here. I like games. Do you like games?
Oh, I love a good game.
Oh well, best of luck to you. I think it's gonna be really good. But I'm going to win. First drink. Go ahead and roll. Constitution saving throw.
Eldritch Mind doesn't count for this because it's not a spell, right?
No.
I don't get advantage.
Magic booze.
20.
A 20. So, with quick succession, you straight down. They rolled a natural 6, so she's like, they got me the wrong flavor. They did. Oh, I don't like this one. Can we get the other one for the next round? And she begrudgingly finishes it. Oh, I might have messed up. Second time's a charm. Next drink. 21. Okay. So she seemed to have found her taste for the drink. She manages to finish it really quickly, and as she looks, you've just finished before her. She got a 20. So that was very close. And you can see she's like, okay. It's now or never. I can't let my dear husband be humbled by that terrible loss. I've got to make it right. Drink again.
23.
23. Wow. This alcohol seemingly having like minimal effect on you. With her natural 10, she's like, I did it. I got as far as he did. I got as it.
Astra was stone cold sober. Like, nice trouble.
That is another success. Well done. You can see the other teams like looking a bit cautious at this point.
Ginkgo's gonna sit down like, this looks fun.
Bring it on, Ginkgo, come on.
Okay. And sitting down across from you, you see a very large, imposing bugbear who sits down. Hands on the table. Are you ready? Because I like to drink. And I've already had quite a bit tonight, so I'm well prepared.
Me too. And she pets his snout.
You're gonna make me sneeze. All right. Roll for your first drink.
+5. That is a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Much like your comrades, you are able to down this drink pretty quickly. You can see that he makes good progress with his, but ends up sneezing into his drink because of you tickling his nose earlier. It's like, and he finishes it and then realizes what he's drunk and he's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh.
I like the sweet ones.
Mine wasn't very sweet. Next one. He grabs it. You see, like, the glass, the sort of tankard in his hand is comparably tiny, just for the sheer size of this bugbear. Second drink.
Plus 5 at 17.
17. He got 7.
Oh.
So you start to feel like the bubbling in your stomach now, like maybe you're approaching your limit, but nonetheless he's like he finished before you, but he looks like he's really struggling. So he's like, no, my 2 best friends have already fallen. I cannot let them fall. This is our hero's story, not theirs. The drink.
Quite the tale they'll tell.
Come on, Ginkgo.
Ooh, +5, that is 19.
19. Natural 1.
Oh!
Everyone's got such crazy con. What the hell?
It's hey, this is good for me to know. I'm learning a lot tonight. So, like, as soon as the ale touches his lips, he just pukes into his tankard and all over himself. And he's like,
Immediately prestidigitation the puke away.
Thank you. And he just like runs off and collapses in the corner.
Yay! And then she goes back to the flute playing with the band.
The last member of their team looks decisively concerned at this point. As the last person to step up?
Gigato's quite nervous because they've been away from civilization for a long time and haven't drunk much alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And even seeing Ginkgo as like a first-time drinker do so well. It's just like,
I'll blame
yes,
genetics.
Here we go.
As your opponent sits down at the table, a small halfling boy, who they end up getting a couple of books for him to sit on top of the chair, and he's like, I thought I'd join in because you beat me mum and dad, but you guys are really good at it, but you know, like, we're really good drinkers in our family. In fact, hang on, let me just to add to this.
How old are you?
There we go. I'm old enough, thank you very much.
No. No, Patch, no.
What? I'm a legitimate character that was legitimately planned for this session. I totally didn't make this up on the fly. It's fine. We're gonna have the drinks.
His name is Lyle.
Yes.
I'm going to talk to the king about the drinking laws. I'm going to use you as an example.
Oh, I'd like to meet the king. Do you know he's really cool? He's got this like cane, you know, and it's like made of gold. And oh no, we're supposed to be drinking, right? First drink, and he's like, the cup's massive in his hands. So first one.
Oh no.
What'd you get?
Where'd you go?
Well, what did you get? You got a 9. Nat 1 again.
No.
Brax,
So, like,
in character.
It's like, but as soon as he like takes a sip, he's like, "Oh, you didn't say it was fizzy. Ah, no." And like, you have to wait a few minutes for him to finish it, but he's insistent on continuing despite this failure. Second one. I've got this.
Kikatsu looks at Suka and says, "Don't judge me."
Second round. Oh. How'd you go?
7.
Natural 20. From a 1 to a 20. So you see, he's just like, no, they were wrong. Mum and Dad were wrong. This is my hero story. And with speed and power like you've never seen, just downs this drink and it's gone. And there's this strange aura emanating from this child. Like, this was my purpose. My destiny. To beat you fuckers in this drinking game.
Kikatsu looks at Ginkgo and is like, "It's you. You invoked genetics into this mess."
Final round. Con save.
Oh no.
How'd you go?
7.
Oh no.
I'm going to take a picture of this. Because I just got another nat 20.
What?
Oh my god.
I'm going to take a picture.
This child. Someone get their child.
Can I just say this 9, 7, and 7 with the lizard folks resistance to being poisoned, as this is alcohol poisoning. So those are all with advantage.
Amazing.
No.
So
plus 2. So I rolled 2 5s and a 7.
So hang on, I need to make this moment more epic. If you will bear with me just one moment, as you see Kikato and this child prepare for this final round, the wind picks up. I'm going to take this filter off my face, actually. The wind begins to pick up around this halfling child, and you hear outside the sound of thunder and stormy weather as the rest of the room, like the musicians stop and you all pay attention as this child starts almost levitating out of the chair, and an ambient white glow surrounding him, his hair lifting up from his little bowl cut. And you see his eyes go white. This was my task. I am to uphold my family's honor. This is my hero's story. And with a scream, yeah, downs this pint of ale in rapid action before Gikato has even brought his tankard to his lips. He slams the tankard on the table, cracking and indenting the table. I did it. And then immediately passes out from alcohol poisoning because he's a child.
Good job, youngling.
There's just
From beneath the table.
Go ahead.
From beneath the table, this black smoke just kind of can be seen through like the dent in the table, the crack in the table, and it just mends itself as Aegis is underneath the table at the thunder crack.
Oh, no.
And while the rest of the tavern has just been watching in silence and awe, like, yeah, that was so cool. And the bartender's like, do you know what? That was the coolest thing I ever seen. Free drinks all around.
Yeah.
And there's a massive eruption of cheers from the group as the night continues on. And while you were successful...
Are any of the 4 exsanguinated husks? Okay.
Then they're stable. They're not making death saves. I mean, the child is a maybe. I don't know yet. That's no. The child is fine. Don't worry.
It's a darker campaign.
Oh yeah.
If I
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If I could, Patch, before the night kind of comes down to a close, we're just going to put 5 points into Lay on Hands for the child. And 5 points with Lay on Hands rids them of all conditions. So give that kid back that sobriety and give that kid back his life, because they're going to have another round with us. It's...
All right. So if it come
Cure him so you can have one more drink.
It sort of wakes up and is like, did I die?
No, but they will remember you in Isgard.
And you can see like tears start forming. It's like, I did it. I brought honor to my family name.
Hand on the shoulder, you too can be a hero.
Yeah. Incredible.
Gikato will kind of meet Ginkgo's gaze and is like, what? I wanted to bolster his ego.
Uh-huh. You did well, little cousin. Just like pats his head.
All right. Anything else before you retire to chambers? Which we'll say that the landlord throws you in like a single room for the night that you can all share, because you were very entertaining.
I mean, that performance.
So, anything else to take care of before you climb up the stairs to bed?
Ooh.
Depends how rough are you all getting, I suppose.
Apart from that competition, Gekato will be taking it easy for tomorrow. It's tomorrow's sake.
Okay. Everyone
Moore
else?
doesn't care. She's the last. She's the last to leave.
She's propping up the bar at the end of the night.
Inko just wants food, so she's just waiting for food. Just...
Munchies.
So,
I'm curious, at some point Aegis has probably realized that the crystal buzzing around and occasionally disappearing from view with Gekato is undead.
yes, I would come to that realization, actually. Good point.
Yep. He doesn't say anything about it.
The mental
Chicken.
note.
Okay. Curious, good to know. So, one by one, you all eventually find your way to this room where you either fall asleep gracefully or pass out in whatever state you are currently in. And you find your rest. Let me just roll the dice real quick.
One little flavor note. He just sleeps under one of the beds.
So sleep comes to all of you. One of you less peacefully. A bit more problematic, shall we say. Kimura, your dreams trouble you. Tell us what would constitute a normal dream for Kimura. Not so much like a nightmare, but just in general. What kind of thing would Kimura dream about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that she's either in her dreams probably facing a giant in winning, or she's at a tavern completely wrecking her competition at some sort of game, be that an arm wrestling competition, playing cards, anything that she can kind of gamble at a tavern, have that sort of adventurers lifestyle. She revels in that sort of thing.
Okay. So, for the purposes of this night, you find yourself dreaming that you are standing victorious upon the corpse of a slain hill giant, the biggest that anyone has ever seen. Oathkeeper glowing in your hand as you lift it up over your head, and a crowd of adventurers in front of you cheering your name. The glory is intoxicating that you feel in this moment right now. And you start to hear a storm coming in quite quickly. And as you look around, the skies go from a clear blue within moments to a dark expanse of black cloud. And as it comes overhead, you realize it's not just a storm cloud, it is ash and soot. The air goes hot and uncomfortable, thick. It gets hard to breathe. You look down at the corpse that you're stood on, and it seems to be eroding away, and you see what appears to be maggot-like creatures burrowing their way out of it in a vibrant purple coloration. What do you do?
We're stepping off it. We're just taking our steps backwards and holding Oathkeeper swords in one hand and just ready to find any way to just stay away from the maggots and kind of looking up at the sky. And there's a little bit of anxiety. Not really sure. What's happening to the other adventurers that were kind of cheering Kimura on?
You look and you can see that at their feet, they don't react. They're still cheering your name. But at their feet you can see these maggot-like creatures begin to climb up their legs. They do not react. They are seemingly unaware of this.
Don't let them touch you. I don't know what that is. She's calling out to the adventurers. Don't let that touch you.
They just continue.
Get away from this.
They just continue chanting, "Yeah, Kimura! Kimura! Kimura!"
No, stop it. They're on your legs.
And you see that they continue to be unaware as they get higher and higher up their torsos, and as you look ahead, you see 3 of them at the tip of Oathkeeper.
Slashing at it.
You slash and they go flying, and then you turn the handle, and on the other side of the blade there are about 12 now. And you can see where they are, the metal beginning to corrode.
She's just going to collapse and try and grab Oathkeeper or whatever's left of it as it starts to corrode, and just kind of like shoving these creatures, not even sure if they're even on her, but so focused in on what's happening to Oathkeeper that she's trying everything in her power to like throw them off it.
And you thrust and you swing and you slice and you do what you can, and the more that seem to disappear, the more take its place. Where once was 1 is now 3, and then 6, and then 10, and they just keep multiplying. And you look around you and you see that the entire area around you is now just a valley of coiling movement, where even the land itself seems to be being consumed by these creatures, whatever they are. What do you do?
At this point, with Oathkeeper just sprinting, trying to stomp on some of them as she's running into the distance, not even sure of where she's going. The clouds probably can't even, there's nothing that pierces it, I'm sure, so she's just running into the abyss, running into that darkness, just clutching Oathkeeper.
And you run, and you keep on running. And eventually, Oathkeeper is just a handle in your hand, the blade consumed.
She just collapses and holds her hands. I made you a promise, Dad. They took it from me. And she just falls completely over, letting the maggots sort of consume her. Holding that as it completely corrodes, she just huddles up into a curled fetal position and just starts crying into the abyss.
And as the darkness takes you, you see in the corner of your eye, just in your peripheral vision, a silhouette bathed in shadow. One that you recognize, and the only reason you do is because it is one you are very accustomed to. A figure that carries Oathkeeper on its back. And as the darkness takes you, this shadowed figure turns, and some light from seemingly nowhere just catches a glimpse of the face of your father, who looks down at you as your vision goes black. You may all take the benefits of the long rest. As the sun rises on a new day in Demethrin, we are going to go ahead and finish up tonight's opening session. So, a massive thank you for everyone who's tuned in tonight for the opening session of our new adventure. We've had some fun. That was... didn't think I would be causing alcohol poisoning to a child, but there we go. That's how it goes. I did say it would be darker.
Quality
Really
content.
child abuse.
You made your choices.
Curiosity brings consequence, as I always say. So, before we finish up and we go raiding, let's go around the table and re-meet our players. Feel free to tell us who you are, who you played, favorite moment from the session, and feel free to plug anything you've got to plug. Starting with Ginkgo.
Hello, I am Ginkgo, the curious and oblivious Eladrin little friend that we've made along the way. You can find me at SmallBirdLex on all platforms, or SmallBird Art. I do art, I do D&D stuff, I do cosplay stuff. I will be somebody's cup of tea, I promise. I do a little bit of everything. That's about it.
Any favorite moments?
Oh my goodness, I love that I rolled high on the performance, because that just made it feel so much better. That she got so drunk that she played beautifully.
Hey, alcohol is clearly a performance-enhancing drug. Okay, thank you so much. Astra.
I play Astra, the half-wood elf warlock here. You can find me over in QuestJunkiesUK on the Out of This campaign, and about once a month I do a campaign, Spines of Pandelver on Suma Sudith. I'm the DM. It's terrible. It's fun to watch because I don't know what I'm doing. But in terms of today, I don't know, there are a lot of fun moments. I really enjoyed the interaction with Kakato and having him attack me right off the bat. I wasn't expecting it to be that hostile, but fun.
I was very happy with that as well. Thank you very much. Aegis.
I'm Aelin, Ace Rogue Zential, most places you can find me. Here or on QuestJunkiesUK for Jacentus Tyranny. And favorite moment, probably that nightmare sequence at the end. I was tearing up with Kimura's all feels.
I tend to have a habit of making my players cry. It's I guess it's a good thing. Sorry. Okay, thank you. Gakato.
I am John from QuestJunkiesUK, and it's been a pleasure, as always. Good to be playing a character again, although I think I might have to change the voice. It wrecked my throat.
I was thinking that.
For a whole session.
Yeah.
I was just doing it in little snippets before, and that was okay, but so we shall see what happens in a couple of weeks. Yes, very nice to be a player again, and dipping into all of these various abilities and skills that we have here, even if saving throws did thwart me on the most cases. But you can find us over at QuestJunkiesUK on the various platforms, and we will be back next week with our various campaigns. Check out the schedule on the Twitch page for all of that, because there's too much to list. There's lots going on. But we are looking forward to doing a fun fundraising campaign for our friends over at the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming at the end of this month. Has some special guests lined up for that, which we're looking forward to revealing soon, as well as all our regular players in all of the awesome campaigns. We'll be helping to gather funds for Kyle and all the wonderful people over there. And then, that's everything that's going on at the moment. Favorite moments today? It was fun to come out swinging. That's right.
And that you did. And last but never least, Kimura.
Friends, hi, I'm Mike. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. I have been Kimura, your half-orc conquest paladin. You can find me in chat for Redania Campaign 3. Guys, did you know Redania has a third campaign going? Some of the players are already in the chat. You already like this. Why aren't you watching them? Come check them out. Is it still 7:30 BST? Or is it 8:30 BST
It's
now? 'Cause
8:30 GMT.
GMT. See,
Time
this is why I
zones.
can never do that.
I am my
They are
nemesis. Yes.
Check it out there. I'll be hanging out in chat. Players are lovely. Thank you.
And a favorite moment?
Favorite moment is our 2 Nat 20 boy who outdrank Picasso. Absolutely.
That was, yeah. I have had like this week in particular. I've had a bit of a journey with Nat 20s. If you saw the Chisentis Tyranny session that Phoenix Iwaki ran on Friday, you will have seen many of them. Yeah, I've rolled more Nat 20s this week than I have in my entire life. It's great, and I have.
I forgot. As I said, I forgot I spoke halfling. I should have pleaded to his better nature.
Next time. I have been Patch, your ever humble dungeon master. You can find me here, obviously, this is my channel. You can also find me over on John's channel, Phoenix Iwaki, where every 2 weeks I play the sassy yet classy Order of Scribes Kalashtar wizard, Kaelin Sturgrove, who just got killed by a sea god, but she's back for more, and I'm often there guesting in one-shot roulettes and all the other wonderful delights that happen over there. My favorite moment, I think just the entire opening sequence. Because just on a personal note, as a DM, there is no better feeling that I've experienced just starting a new adventure with new people. So thank you guys for agreeing to take part. We're going to have so much fun. It's going to be traumatic. We're going to have a great sad time. Wouldn't have it any other way. So that does it for us today. We're going to wrap up. Let's go raiding. But in the meantime, do take care. Always remember to be kind and loving and don't be a dick. That's just general life advice. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for the Demethrin 5. Or if you need a bit more action before then, we'll see you on Monday for the next session of the Redania Chronicles. It's been a pleasure, guys, and we'll see you next time. See you later.
Cheers.